should test my, you can hear me, Laura?
I can hear you.
Oh, there's some echoing. Looks like a windy day, Diana.
Hello. And somehow it's a wrong screen. Somehow I was pushing wrong buttons.
I'm gonna need to change my photographs back here so that there's.
Yeah, I got the background.
I haven't added any backgrounds to Zoom, just to my Teams.
Yeah, I just used the first available from the default. I kind of like, this looks like fun to be somewhere. How was your day, Andrea? Was it crazy after arbitration?
No, it wasn't too bad. Mostly we're just working on the board package for next week, trying to get that finalized. So that's always sort of a bit of a last minute scramble as we're reading through all of the reports from everybody else and making sure everything's okay. So
I was able to go through Nick's drive. I went through Nick's emails. I didn't find anything on his drive, but I found on his emails his.
You have to just watch. I think we're streaming live, Diana.
Oh, I see. Oh, I had no idea.
So maybe we'll have that conversation after.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm not sure, how many people are watching, but we're streaming live now.
Sorry.
Hi, Alyssa.
Hi.
How are you?
How's everyone? I'm good.
We're good.
I can see you chose the beach as well.
But yours is like, it has some movement there. I'm just amazed. It's like a video. It's not just a picture.
Well, I feel like I should remove it now.
No, it's awesome.
Is it more awesome than my background?
Yeah. Sorry.
That's
You can
okay.
take that kind of video in Cayman and then set it up for yourself.
I have video I could run of when I was in the Caymans the last time diving, when I was swimming with the rays and feeding them.
Wow.
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a real life aquarium where you have, this fish swimming behind you.
Yes, a real live aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Phil.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. No complaints.
That's good. Phil, this is Jordan. We'll do a virtual.
Hello.
We haven't met each other. Did we lose them now?
Don't take it personally, Jordan.
Yeah. Jared's like, I can just leave. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
How about you?
It's good. It's good. And I'm getting my vaccine tomorrow, which is really exciting. So I'm excited to get the first dose.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
See, if you'd stayed in London, Jordan, you could have had it already.
I would have. It's true. I think it was 2 days after I moved, I got the email from Maurice.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you guys
And
can
you're
book
like,
now.
oh.
And just,
Timing is everything. Hi, John. Hi, Rosanna.
Hi.
Um,
Hi.
How are you both?
Pretty good, thanks.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, no complaints. Except for it's pretty hot out. But other than that,
I was only outside really briefly today, so I'm
I
in
just-
an air-conditioned office.
I just took the dog for a quick walk before the meeting, so
Oh, okay.
it's hot.
Originally, they'd said it was going to rain today, but it doesn't look like there's any sign of that anymore.
No, not until Saturday now, it looks like.
Okay.
It's
I hope-
summer. It's
yeah.
supposed to be hot.
Yeah.
We're just enjoying a few months before it gets chilled again.
I hope it's not heavy rain Saturday. I'm registered with my sister and her kids to do that. It's called Clued Up. It's where you do an outdoor virtual game of Clue. So
Oh,
you start at St. Paul's Cathedral and you get these virtual clues on your cell phone, and then you have to walk around the city
that's
and-
cool.
and get new clues and try and solve this mystery. So I'm doing that with my sister and the kids on Saturday, and it's going to be the first time I've been around the kids in
Yeah,
forever. So if it's pouring rain, that'll be a bit of a letdown. Hi, Ainsley.
Hello.
How are you?
Good thing.
I think it's supposed to be some of those, like one of those, hot, moist air things that it just
Okay.
gathers and it'll be late afternoon likely, but I don't know for sure. But
Yeah, it's interesting because you can start the game anytime between 9 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. And then they just
Oh.
ask that you're finished by, I think you're supposed to be finished by 8 o'clock at night so that nobody's doing it after dark.
yeah,
So we'll see what this is like. And then
Are you talking? Are
Clued
you
Up.
talking about the murder mystery thing?
Yes,
or-
yeah, I'm doing that on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I've got limited details, so it'll be interesting to see how it actually works. When are you doing it?
Don't know.
Don't know. Okay.
No plan.
oh, now Saturday looks good. I think it's
Oh.
maybe rain tomorrow night. Maybe
Yeah.
40% chance. So
Okay.
there you go. From the weatherman, John Milson.
Well, I was going to wait till Paul gets here, but we might need to get right into business. So I should introduce Phil to everybody because Phil's joining us for the first time. So Phil, this is so John and Rosanna and Ainsley, members of the board, current members of the board,
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
and there's Paul.
Hi, everyone. My apologies. I'm having issues with Outlook, Web Outlook again tonight. So if you'll just bear with me for a moment.
Everyone's gone quiet now.
I'm gonna sneeze, so I'm turning off my video for a second.
All right. Well, my apologies for that. I think we are ready to begin our meeting tonight. So I'm going to formally call us to order. With that, I'm going to begin with the recognition of peoples and lands, which I don't actually have in front of me in the package here. And I don't know it off by heart. Does anyone have the acknowledgement handy? By any chance?
I'm just grabbing that. Give me just one moment. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. I appreciate that.
I have one. I can put it on share screen if that will help.
That would be lovely. Thank
Okay.
you very much. Great. So we'd like to begin our meeting this evening by acknowledging the treaty territory of the Anishinaabe, which is defined within the pre-Confederation treaty known as the London Township Treaty of 1796. Throughout time, this region has also become the current home to the Haudenosaunee and Lenni-Lenape nations. Thank you, Ms. Grin. Appreciate that. With that, we will go to the completion of acceptance of the agenda. Before we do that, though, tonight, colleagues, I think we should take a moment to recognize the tragedy that occurred in our community this past week. We experienced an act of terror and a hate crime that was pretty devastating for the community as a whole. So it's giving us a lot to reflect on, to think about, and hopefully the outcomes from that as well will help drive our organization forward as we do reflection related to that over the next little while. So in terms of the agenda, there are a couple adjustments tonight for the delegation of authority to the subcommittee and the nominations for the interim director positions. I'm going to recommend that we actually postpone those to our meeting next week. The subcommittee is going to be meeting next Wednesday to review the applicants that are going to be applying or that have applied for the board positions. They'll have a recommendation that they can put forward to us hopefully next Thursday night. With that, we'll have a chance then to reflect on the skill set that the applicants all have to help us inform who we think would be best to move forward as members of this board into the next board going forward. So with your indulgence and acceptance, I'll maybe ask for a motion to table those two items. We'll put that on the floor and then we'll ask for any debate and discussion. Mr. Milson, thank you. Seconder? Ms. Wilcox, thanks. Any discussion related to that?
No, Paul, I really appreciate you doing that because I was actually going to recommend that prior, because I think we want to move forward with a board that's skill-based as much as possible.
Great.
So I think that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, that's great, Mr. Milson. And that was, I think, our commitment we made to council too as well when we were doing the governance review too. So
yeah, you wouldn't want 3 accountants on there.
there you go. Hey, it's always good fun.
I know.
So we have a motion that's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion then? Seeing none, all those in favor? It is carried. Could someone move then the adoption of the agenda as revised? Ms. Anderson, thank you. Seconded by Mr. Milson. Appreciate it. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? It is carried. Okay, disclosures of interest. I'm not aware of any. Would anyone like to disclose any related to the one item we have on the agenda tonight? No? Okay. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. We do have the minutes from the May 20th meeting. And thank you again to Ms. Wilcox for chairing that meeting in my absence. Are there any comments related to the minutes that anyone would like to raise? Seeing none, could I have a motion to adopt? Thank you, Ms. Wilcox, seconded by Mr. Milson. Mr. Milson, any discussion related to that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Oh, sorry. Yes, Mr. Milson.
The only thing I know, sorry, I don't know if I'm on mute here. Am I good? Okay. The only thing I noted is that you were absent. So the name, as long as Rosanna signs the minutes, that's fine. I think, but that was only the thing I noticed about the minutes.
Okay, I think I can still sign as a formality.
Oh, can you? Okay. Yep, good.
But yep, thanks. Anything further? All those in favor? It's carried. Communications. So we do have one communication from the city clerk regarding the item we're going to be discussing tonight. Ms. McKenzie, do you have anything to add related to that?
Through you, Chair. I don't. I just wanted to include this letter. We, at the previous meeting, we had included an email because we hadn't received formal response from the clerk's office. So we're just including this so that the board is aware that we have been granted the delegation status, which is why we are now also going to be looking at the presentation for that delegation meeting for the AGM.
Great. Any comments, questions related to that? Seeing none, could I have a motion then to receive the communication? Mr. Milson, thank you. Ms. Wilcox, or sorry, Ms. Anderson seconded. All those in favor? That's carried. We have no delegations tonight and no matters for our consent agenda, so we'll move right into reports and business, and I'll turn things over to Ms. McKenzie for the AGM report and presentation.
Thank Thank you very much. So through you, Chair. As part of the annual requirement for the shareholder agreement, we come together and usually develop a presentation that we like to make to council. So this year we're fortunate we had Jordan that was able to help us put together a slightly different or slightly sort of revised look at a presentation for this year, focusing really on some key areas, some challenges for the organization related to COVID, but some of the foundational pieces of work that we've been able to achieve with this board and with this through the organization and the good solid work of the staff here. So as you'll see, and Jordan is here as well, obviously, because this is a draft. So we do have the ability to make some last minute adjustments this evening. But we would like to sort of take you through this piece and get approval for this. The AGM documents need to be submitted by 9 o'clock on Monday, June 14th, to the clerk's office. So we've got a little bit of time if there's any adjustments. But maybe what I will ask Jordan to do is sort of take you through. We had met and sort of talked about the layout of what we wanted to present to council and the sort of pieces that we wanted to emphasize. So maybe I'll let Jordan take you through some of the work she's put together.
Yeah, thank you so much, Andrea. So good evening, everybody. I know there's a couple people who don't know me. My name is Jordan. I is the communication specialist here at LMCH, and I've really been supporting through lots of communications pieces, this one being the big one that we have coming up. So as Andrea was saying, like I had discussion with her and Paul about, what we want to talk about the AGM. And this year we thought it'd be a fantastic opportunity to showcase and highlight all the incredible things we've done despite the challenges of the pandemic. So a lot of the projects that we started, like our regeneration efforts, receiving the CMHC funding, having our tenant advisory council, and really highlighting all the great work that we've done through COVID to also support our tenants and our communities, and really touch on those points that we've been able to accomplish in setting the foundations to build up the organization and the new iteration of the board, but also to really set the stage for lots of accomplishments to support our tenants in the future as well. So what I can do, because if I can share my screen, I can take everybody through the document. If you give me just a moment. Here. I can take you through a bit as well. Perfect. Excellent. So can everybody see my screen okay? Perfect. Thank you. So here is our title page. So we decided to call this year's iteration of the document Laying a Foundation. Keeping it something that really speaks volumes about all the work that we've done this past year to really, truly, in some ways, lay down a literal and metaphorical foundation for all of our work in the coming years. So in the first page, really just our introduction, talking about we've had many challenges this year, all the great stuff that's happened, and really kind of moving from that into the impacts of COVID-19 and some of the work that we've done in the past year to really, mitigate those risks, what we've done as staff with our tenants, and how we're continuing to work to support health and safety measures as well too. And then from there, we kind of get more so into like the policy and operation. So really highlighting all of the policies that we've really put forward this year. So affordable housing policy, tenant relocation policy, use of force, with our security measures, just to name a few, and talking about how we're really trying to, again, lay down the groundwork so we can just keep on building up from this point on. And moving from there, we really thought it was important to really highlight the safety and security, especially as we brought in having our security team recently start, which is super exciting. So really bringing that into Business Case 19, all the work that we have with our security manager, what we've been working on the past year with our safety and security pilots and projects, and how now moving forward, the community safety unit's going to be implementing their new use of force policy as well. And then from there, we kind of get more so into like the building management. So talking about the asset management plan, how it's going to lay the groundwork for all of our operations in the coming decade, what we're hoping to accomplish and how it's going to guide a lot of our projects. And then from there, kind of transitioning into the repair and the renew projects that particular document really ties well to. So talking about how we got the grant, all the great stuff that's going to be going towards, particularly with seniors and helping people to live comfortably. And from there, really kind of, again, transitioning to reimagine and a regeneration project. So really diving into that, how we're working with the community, really trying to get this off the ground and working with a dedicated project manager whose sole focus will be on Reimagine. And then kind of concluding it really with collaborative building, you know, our tenant advisory council. So we were really fortunate to actually get some photos of the tenant council. We don't have like the full board yet, but we are working on it. And so we really wanted to highlight the faces that will be working with the next iteration of the board, and, you know, what they're going to be doing, how they're going to be supporting not just tenants, but also the board as well too, and really representing a voice that we really have wanted to come to the table from some time, and really sharing that perspective as well. And then finally, before we wrap it up, just kind of looking onwards to 2021. So, you know, having our mobile vaccination clinics, the board of directors governance review, you know, planning our strategic plan for 2022, 2025, hiring the CEO. And again, also having like a new board coming into the organization. And then just concluding it, as you do, with a nice little thank you, just saying thank you to everybody. We're excited to see where this goes from here. And we're looking forward, you know, to bringing some fantastic stuff to you in the future. So that was kind of just a very brief synopsis. It's about 11 pages, but it's something that's a bit more detailed because we obviously can't go into, you know, all these points and within a 3-minute speech. Otherwise, poor Paul is just going to be like going at the speed of sound to talk. But this is something that's a bit more in-depth and a bit more descriptive. So if the council wants to take their time reading it, you know, it's a little bit more detailed, whereas Paul can kind of refer to it in his speech. And it's something that I think sheds a bit more light on our projects in the ways that we can't necessarily articulate in that like 3 to 5 minute presentation as well too. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I did kind of go through this document really, really fast. So if there is any thoughts, considerations, or even edits that you'd like to see the presentation, like please let me know, because I'm more than happy to make them right now, or I even have notes with me so I can make sure that those are done in preparation for the for Monday as well too.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Hamlins. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Questions related to the document?
And I can go back as well too if there's anything.
Yeah, for sure. Ms. Anderson.
Thank you. And through you, Mr. Chair, to Jordan, I wanted to say thank you. It's great. And it's so refreshing to read like a good news story with all the highlights of things that were able to be accomplished, notwithstanding all the challenges. So that's awesome. I had a question kind of relating to the 2019 version of this document. I noticed it was quite a bit different, like a different type of approach with less stats and numbers. And I'm just wondering if you can explain the thought process, because I personally look at stats and am impressed easily. So for just me reading something like a high-level document, I appreciate those high-level stats, but I assume they weren't included for a reason. So I'm hoping you could just describe to me why the approach differs from last year.
Ms. Havelmans, and then probably Ms. McKenzie or I could probably speak to that as well.
Oh, okay. Sorry, yeah. So also I know that this is a decision that, you know, I made with with the chair and Ms. McKenzie to really, you know, with COVID being a very unique year, there was going to be challenges that were a bit more unprecedented that, you know, we really wanted to focus on, you know, like there were some challenges, there were some struggles that make this year very unique, and that these are things that we are working on, but we wanted to show that despite these struggles, because with everything with the pandemic, it has made things more difficult. So we really wanted to highlight, you know, all of the great things that we've been able to accomplish despite that. And I'm sure Mr. Chair and Ms. McKenzie can kind of speak to a bit more to our decision for that as well too.
Yeah, through you, Chair. To your point, we did talk about making a slight alteration, and you're correct. A lot of times we do include some high-level statistics, but it felt like we should take a step back and sort of reset as an organization about how we wanted to report. And Some of that statistical information is still being captured. Some of it is going to be less available to us because of the lack of staff out in the community. And so some of the work of staff like the community relations workers it was going to look a lot different than it would have in previous years. And I don't know that that was necessarily the best way to reflect the work of the good work of the organization. I think it might have, I think the statistics, some of them might have looked a little bit skewed compared to previous years, just because of the change in things, even Ms. Anderson, for the number of work orders that we completed, right? So through various times when we were experiencing shutdowns, we were only focusing on urgent or emergency work orders. So I think it would potentially paint a less positive picture for the community if they saw a significant decrease, without being able to get into too much detail as to why. So I think that some of this was really sort of the high level key pieces of work that we wanted to focus on, that the organization had still moved forward this year. That was what I had hoped that we would achieve with this. I don't know if the chair wants to add to that.
Yeah, and then from my perspective too, I was anticipating that the shareholder would be very interested in what the board was working on this past year as the interim board, focusing on the major initiatives of the organization that we've been working on helping lead forward. So that's why we really try to focus it on that. Shifting a little bit away from the conversation in the past about unit turnover and things like that, which I think will be important for the next board and for the next AGM that we have. But as Ms. Mackenzie said, we thought we'd take a little bit of a different approach with this one.
Sorry, if I can just weigh in as well. We will anticipate it's like that we're going to face some of those questions. So during the question and answer period, we will have that information available so that either the chair or any member of the senior leadership team is able to answer those questions specifically related to the statistical information. Because that may come up. There may be questions related to vacancy. So we will be prepared to answer all of those at the time.
Great, thank you.
Just maybe to build on that though, Ms. Anderson, did you think that was something that was missing that should be added in then, or just we're looking for information on the thought process?
Yeah, no, I completely trust the team that put this together, and just was wondering what the rationale was, because like I said, for me, I find those stats really interesting. But it makes sense to me that given the unique circumstance of this year, the focus was slightly different, and it's important to highlight the positives. And I also like Ms. Mackenzie's comment that all of the information will be readily available at the fingertips of the presenters to, answer any questions with respect to how the numbers stack up compared to 2019. So that works for me. Thank you.
Further questions? Seeing none. So the recommendation is, if I can change screens here for a minute.
To approve.
To approve the, yes, thank you very much. To approve the report as presented. Can I have a motion then for that? Great, Ms. Wilcox, seconded by Mr. Milson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It is carried. Ms. Havelmans, thank you so much for all your hard work on this. It's been great. It's been really well set up, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good. Okay, so returning to our agenda. We have no new business or inquiries. In-camera matters, we do have in-camera minutes that were circulated to members of the board. Were there any issues related to those? Seeing none, can I have a motion then to adopt and approve? Mr. Milson, thank you. Seconded by Ms. Wilcox. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Great, they are carried. Okay, and that brings us to the end of our meeting then, everyone. So thanks very much for making some time out for this special meeting to address this matter. Really looking forward to the AGM and for presenting the good work that the organization is doing to the shareholder and receiving any comments and questions they might have. So with that, maybe before I wrap up the meeting, I didn't begin by welcoming Mr. Renaud to our meeting. Thank you very much for joining us, Phil. It's great to have you. I think there's some introductions that were occurring while I was getting hooked up here, but formally on behalf of the organization and everyone that's listening in, welcome to the team. It's great to have you.
Thanks for that. I mean, so far I'm having a great time.
Good to hear. That's fantastic. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Milson, seconded by Ms. Anderson. No discussion on that? All those in favor? It is carried. Thanks, everyone. Hope you have a great night and yeah, enjoy your weekend. We'll
Thanks,
see you next
everyone.
week.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.